Hi, I'm Randall Pinkston, and welcome to Eye to Eye. Katie is on assignment. A new study finds a growing number of combat veterans are battling mental illness, but many are finding it difficult to get the help they need. Kimberly Dozier spoke to one vet whose search for help took him all the way to the Pentagon.
So you were back here for a bit, and you told me that your buddy, one of the medics, had said, I think you got PTSD. Now, what kind of things were you going through that made you think that?
I was drinking a lot to help me sleep, because if I tried being sober, I wouldn't be able to sleep at all. And I was real irritable throughout the day, and started having flashbacks and anxiety attacks in public places and while driving.
Flashbacks? While you're driving? What does that do?
It's like a panic attack. Like, it just all of a sudden I feel like I was right back there, and I'd have to pull over and relax, take a few deep breaths. I went in and I talked to our PA, and
what's that mean?
Physician assistant, Captain Holmes, and he asked me a few questions, and we went over some things, and he said, yeah, you have PTSD, and he put me in contact with a social worker. It was a therapist, and I started seeing her on a regular basis, and they put me on medication.
So they diagnosed you with PTSD?
I don't think it was an official diagnosis at that time. It wasn't until later on when I got sent up to the R&R Center, the Rest and Resilience Center, and saw the psychologist, Major Yao, that it was officially diagnosed, and the memorandums were set up that I'd be separated.
How long did it take your commanders to recognize it?
It was recognized right away that I had a problem. I don't believe they really thought it was PTSD at first, and it wasn't I don't know if they ever really recognized it.
So they kept you on the same duties. They kept you being a regular soldier. So describe to me what that was like.
It was real difficult for a while. I was going back to drinking a lot and going out to the field, and I would have, every time I heard something, a fake IED or blanks fired from a weapon, it just really disturbed me, and I had a lot of trouble sleeping out in the field, and just a really hard time.
You were diagnosed, and you were waiting to be medically discharged? You were waiting to be discharged?
They had it set up that I was going to get a chapter 5-17, which was for medical, and we agreed that it would be the best thing for me because it would be a quick process and it would get me out, soon. And my chain of command, it just didn't happen, and then I started to get into trouble, more trouble.
Because they didn't listen, they didn't let you out, they kept you in.
And after I started to get in trouble, that's when they said they were keeping me longer until my punishment was served after, for whatever I just did. And then it eventually turned into they're changing that medical discharge into a general discharge.
For misconduct?
One of the tough things is getting flack from commanders and other soldiers for my condition and not being able to function as a soldier anymore out in the field as well as I used to. But when I first came into the Army, it was all I wanted to do was, be a soldier for as long as my grandpa did, do 20 years. And I wanted to make it a career in my life, and after coming back from Iraq, everything changed. It's just been, there's no way I can do it anymore. And that's been obvious for almost a year now.
This is a really personal story to put out there. This has gotta hurt a bit. Why are you doing it?
My big thing is for all the other soldiers out there like me, and I know many personally who aren't seeking help, who are having a lot of problems, and who aren't, talking to anybody about it. They're not talking about the things that they saw and did, and they just keep it built up inside, and just, and they're still going out drinking and getting in fights, and
And they're going back to Iraq.
And they're going back to Iraq, and then they just come back even worse. And, I'm hoping, they need to know that there's help out there.